Hey everyone, welcome back for another deep dive.
Yeah.
Today we're going deep on a topic that I think is super fascinating and honestly something that I think a lot of people have questions about, but don't always know where to even begin.
Mm-hmm.
We're talking about same-sex attraction. We're going to be looking at what science has to say, what psychology tells us, and even how societal views play into this whole conversation.
Right.
Our main source for today's deep dive is an article called Exploring Same-Sex Attraction: Science, Society, and Self-Acceptance.
Okay. Interesting.
And right off the bat, this article throws out a fact that kind of blew my mind. It says that same-sex attraction has been observed in over 1,500 animal species.
Wow. 1,500.
Yeah, that's a lot, right?
That is a lot. Yeah.
Like, it's not just a handful of, exotic birds or something. It's all sorts of animals all over the planet.
Right.
And that really challenges the idea that same-sex attraction is somehow unnatural or just a human thing.
Absolutely. That's a really striking number. And it makes you realize this is a part of nature, a part of the animal kingdom.
Totally.
It's not some new phenomenon.
Yeah, like nature's giving us a clue here.
Yeah.
But the article doesn't just stop at that fun fact. It goes on to explore how attraction, in general, is this super complex mix of things. Biology, environment, personal experiences, it all plays a part.
It's complicated, right?
It really is. So I'm curious, from your perspective, what do you think is the most significant factor in shaping attraction? Not just same-sex attraction, but just attraction in general.
That's a great question. And, it's hard to pinpoint just one. But the article delves into some fascinating research on brain structure.
Okay.
Like there's this part of the brain called the hypothalamus.
What?
It's involved in sexual behavior.
Right.
And studies have shown that there are size differences in the hypothalamus between people who are attracted to the same sex versus the opposite sex.
Hold on. So you're saying there's a physical difference in the brain?
There's evidence to suggest that, yeah.
That's wild. I never knew that.
It is pretty amazing. And that's just one example of how biology seems to be involved.
So it's not just about like who you're raised around or anything.
Right, there's more to it. The article also mentions genetics. Like there's no single gay gene, but research suggests that certain gene markers might play a role in same-sex attraction.
It sounds like it's all still being figured out.
Definitely, it's complex stuff. But what we do know is that biology lays a foundation.
Okay.
But it's not the whole story, like you were saying.
Right, because the article emphasizes that environment and experiences also play a role.
Absolutely. Our upbringing, our culture,
Yeah.
it all shapes how we view the world and who we're attracted to.
Makes sense. Like the article talks about LGBTQ+, that's lesbian, gay, bisexual, transgender, queer, and more.
Right, it's an umbrella term,
Yeah.
encompassing all these different sexual orientations and gender identities.
Exactly, and how those identities are perceived can vary wildly from culture to culture.
Oh, for sure.
And that brings us to this whole debate about normal versus abnormal.
Yeah, those are loaded terms. And the article really dives into how labeling same-sex attraction as abnormal has historically been so harmful, leading to things like conversion therapy.
Which is just awful. The article mentions that major health organizations like the American Psychological Association and the World Health Organization have made it clear that same-sex attraction is not a mental disorder.
Exactly, and conversion therapy has been widely discredited. It's based on this false premise that sexual orientation can be changed.
It's scary to think people still try to do that. To force someone to change such a fundamental part of who they are.
It's unethical and damaging, both to individuals and their families.
So if we move away from these harmful labels and really look at the science, what's the main message here? What should people take away from all this?
Well, the article argues that normalizing same-sex attraction is key to creating a more inclusive and compassionate society.
I like that. Because when we understand it's a natural part of human diversity, we can start to dismantle the stigma that often leads to discrimination and mental health challenges within the LGBTQ+ community.
It's about understanding and acceptance.
Absolutely. It's like we're all learning and growing together.
Exactly.
And the article ends with this really thought-provoking question. What can each of us do to create a world where all forms of love and human connection are celebrated?
It's a powerful question, isn't it?
It really is, because it makes you think about your own actions. Like, how can I challenge harmful stereotypes?
Right.
How can I be more empathetic?
Right. It's about making a